taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hello, hello. It is your girl V, and welcome to Shout Out to Your Tuesdays. I have a special guest with me today, the one and only, the famous Yaya Smith. How are you doing? And she's my soror.
Hello, everybody. I am great. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm almost borderline tired, but it's okay. I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
Yes,
I know you've been busy. So
I have. This month I am directing the spring show for Prairie View A&M University. And so, yes, I've been in rehearsals and then crazy enough, I got strep throat. So I had to sit down for a week. And
oh,
yeah, then I had some other issues at home I had to deal with. It's been crazy, but it's worked out and we're here and
okay.
we're making it. And the show has been amazing.
Well, that's good. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. And
Thank
Prairie
you. Thank
View
you.
doing well with their production. I mean, they have the number one producer. I'm just saying. So, so this month, if everyone is not familiar, this month is Heart Health Month. And so my soror, my dear friend Yaya, she told me that she wanted to be on the podcast to talk about heart health and the whole nine yards. And so I said, okay, well, wonderful. You can come back again and again and again. That's fine with me. So today we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into heart health and just having that conversation about you know heart health and health, period. Let's just start with health. Because I know sometimes when we talk about our heart, it can be a little bit scary for some people.
Yep.
But so yeah, where would you like to start?
So I guess I'll kind of give the story of what happened. Look, the short version of how I became so into heart health awareness.
Okay.
So 14 years ago now, I was pregnant in grad school, uh, doing things grad school people do, stay up all night, not sleeping, not taking care of yourself. And I was pregnant and I ended up with preeclampsia. And my son was due on Thanksgiving, but on Halloween, I woke up and I could not catch my breath.
Mm,
When the ambulance came, they said I was breathing about 80 breaths a minute.
wow.
And I had to be rushed to the emergency room. They said I'd be fine. But for those who don't know, supposedly, for lack of a better term, the cure to preeclampsia is delivery for most people. So I had to have an emergency C-section, code blue on the table. Ended up in a coma on a respirator for 9 days. Lucky enough to, as the old people say, be on this side of the dirt. And I made it through, but I ended up with what they call postpartum cardiomyopathy, which means that your heart was damaged due to pregnancy or pregnancy related issues. Um, in
Okay.
about, I think at that time anyway, the statistic was in about 90% of women, the heart repairs itself. Mine did not. So I now
Mm.
have congestive heart failure and have had congestive heart failure now for the last 14 years.
Oh my.
And basically what congestive heart failure is that there's this thing called the ejection fraction, which is how fast your heart pumps fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And so people with congestive heart failure tend to have issues with their heart pumping fluid. So like the average adult, their ejection fraction is like 75. Mine is about 19.
Oh my gosh, 19. Okay, okay, slow down, yeah, slow down. You know how I get. I'll be like, wait a minute, you're taking me too fast. Let me get all of this wrapped around my head. So you were pregnant.
Hmm.
Now, throughout your pregnancy, I know They
I was,
checked you.
yeah, I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was doing all my prenatal visits.
And
But so I'm gonna be honest. I was in Baton Rouge at the time. I had a Caucasian female doctor, and I really don't think she cared. And I think that I myself, because I was in the city for school, it wasn't a city I was familiar with. I didn't take a lot of time to find a OBGYN, so some of that is on me for
okay,
not doing that work. I think also we assume that when we're younger, things don't affect us like they affect other people.
right,
Well,
right.
I was in grad school, so I was on the university's health insurance, which didn't give me a lot of options for OBGYNs.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing the prenatal visits. I did all of that. And so it just, I mean, I hate to say it like this because it doesn't sound scientific, but it just happened. There may have been some things that she didn't pick up on or that she chose not to deal with that
Mm-hmm.
could have maybe, slowed the process, stopped the process of preeclampsia, but it ended up just being something that I had. I didn't have any prior risk factors that we knew of. That was not my first child. That was my second child. And I didn't have complications with the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah.
Did you
I
lose
think
me?
you cut out. You didn't mute it on me for some reason. I hear you talking.
Look,
Did
I
you
didn't
hit the mute button on me,
touch it.
sis?
Can you hear me now?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get her audio back on there. I'm gonna call my production team like I have one. It's okay. Uh, but you were talking and then
Do you know
it just
where it
cut
cut?
you off. Like, don't do that. Technology, let's not do that because we need to hear the truth. So Yaya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, I cannot. You
And I didn't
seem
I didn't touch anything.
I I know you didn't touch anything. I don't know exactly what just took place, but you seem like you're very, very far, like way far away. Like I can barely hear you. Oh my gosh. Literally, like you picked the perfect time. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to go out and come back in and let's try this
Okay.
again. And then I'm just gonna try to do like a recap real quick of what she was mentioning. So 14 years ago, she was pregnant and with not having any complications or anything like that. Yaya, can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh, hello? What is going on? Oh my gosh. No, I cannot hear you. Oh, I hate this. Oh my oh my gosh. Okay, so let me do it like this. You have your phone nearby?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do like a call. We're going to call you. Cuz we're going to keep moving with this production. Don't even worry about it. We're going to make this work. So let's see.
Okay. Hello?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna make this work. That's all right. Come on, production team. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I don't know what it is. Okay, so let's back up. So the OBG, I mean the doctor that you had in Baton Rouge, you said you didn't have any symptoms. I heard that
No,
part.
nothing that she had made me aware of.
Okay, okay. Uh-oh. Now we're gonna try to have feedback. Boy, I tell you, don't you do it. Okay, so nothing that made her aware that, hey, you're having some cardiac issues or there's something that we need to be concerned about.
No, she had never mentioned anything.
Okay, okay. And see, you know what's interesting for me is that you can have heart issues that are coming and there could be no symptoms. And
Right.
then
I mean, because that's why everybody loves to say that heart disease is the silent killer because it doesn't. And even, I would say, even living with heart disease, I don't feel like I have heart disease, if that makes sense, unless I'm almost in a place of crisis. So, like, although I consistently have congestive heart failure, there are moments where I go into failure, which means that my heart is basically saying like, you got to sit down, you got to get this fluid off, or we gonna have a problem.
Mhm. Mhm.
And like, but in a normal situation, most people don't even realize I have a heart condition, or I guess for lack of a better term, how serious it is. Or most people with heart conditions, people don't notice. Lots of
Lots
people
of
of
people of
color
color
have
have
atrial
atrial
fibrillation.
fibrillation.
A
A lot of them have congestive heart failure.
Right.
Even in this season, a lot of people developed congestive heart failure from COVID, and we didn't really talk about. People didn't really talk about that.
Right.
But
That's true.
I mean, I would hear stories and have discussions because my current cardiologist was actually working with COVID patients who were developing heart conditions. But so it's very much the silent thing. Like, of course, you can live a lifestyle that promotes heart health,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, it still is this thing that we don't think about, if that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it truly is the elephant in the room.
Right. We don't think about it until it's there.
Right,
And
right.
then we're like
And most people don't until they have to deal with it.
until right. So is there a do you have a family history of any heart issues or anything like
So
that?
I found out well after the fact. I mean, probably in the last 4 or 5 years that my father's side of the family has atrial fibrillation, which I have developed atrial fibrillation at this point as well. So I now have congestive heart failure and AFib.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
it's quite a combination.
So let me break that down a little bit. So you were saying that congestive heart failure means what exactly?
That your heart doesn't pump fluid
Mhm.
properly.
Properly. And you were at 19%.
I still am at 19,
You're
but
still
the average adult is between 50 and 75.
okay. And so with this AFib, what does that necessarily mean?
So the AFib affects the rate at which your heart pumps.
Okay.
So, let's say, so a lot of times when people are having palpitations,
Mhm.
for people with AFib, often that means you're in what they call AFib.
Okay.
But for some people, of course, some people just have palpitations, and it's not this automatic AFib. You know what I'm
AFib.
saying?
Yeah.
But also, there's a moment where if you're having palpitations regularly, you need to go get that checked.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times, especially with heart, oh, we feel this little pain in our chest, and it goes away. Oh, they must have been gas. But when you're having that little pain in your chest for like longer than 2 seconds, multiple times, multiple days in a row, you need to see a cardiologist. Like, that's the thing. I mean, I encourage everybody to get their heart checked once a year. Why not? The amount of money we pay for insurance, we should take care of ourselves.
Right. That is true. Definitely.
It's like of all the things we spend money to get our cars fixed, we spend money for tune-ups, but we don't get checkups.
Mm. And
We don't.
why is that?
You know,
Why do you think we don't get checkups? What's the fear
I
there?
think as long as we wake up, we think we're good.
Mm.
And like, there's that moment where, guess what? You probably won't even realize that day you don't wake up.
Right. I like how you said that. But just by you saying that, we think if we wake up, we're good. I mean, that's alarming to me. Because what if you don't wake up, or you have problems waking up?
Right.
There could be several factors to that. Oh my.
Well, and then I also say we have to be honest, especially for people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there is often a distrust of the police, there's a distrust of the medical system.
Right.
The understanding that most research is done on white men already puts everybody else at a deficit when they walk into an office.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, people of color are considered less intelligent. So a lot of times doctors don't think that you know what you're talking about.
Right. When you're talking about your own body.
Right. Or either they believe, that, for years there's been this myth that black people don't feel as much pain as other races,
Right.
or that we're stronger as far as health and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true. Everybody is different. I tell people all the time that doctors call it practice for a reason.
Mm.
They are doing the best they can, most of them. Don't get me wrong, but you also, as a patient, have to do the research that they're doing. If you get a new medicine, Google it. Understand what you're taking and what it's doing to your body. Understand if it's hurting you or harming you. Helping you or harming you. Understand that if you have a reaction, you have the right to call the doctor and say, "Hey, I know you gave me prescription A, but this isn't working. Can we try prescription B?"
Mm-hmm.
My cardiologist will tell you, I tell him all the time, "Hey, I saw this new heart pill. What's this gonna do? Can we try this? If I do this, can I still use that?"
So
It's that moment about you need to be proactive, but you also need to be concerned with the people around you. If you're not comfortable, go get another doctor.
Definitely.
There's nothing wrong. We get new beauticians all the time.
Oh, she's speaking to y'all today. I mean, telling the truth.
If you don't like clothes, you take them back.
Mm-hmm. So why not get another doctor? Why
That's
not get
right. If you go to a restaurant and the food is nasty, you don't go back.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go, well, that is the restaurant on the corner. We ought to try it again. Or you say, well, that was my mama's doctor and he was good to her, so, but you're not your mama.
Mm.
And your health and your body and who you are is totally different. You've got to do what's best for you. I just had a hospital stay in December where I literally had to fight for myself daily.
Right.
I went to the emergency room on a Friday and told them I had pneumonia, and they were like, "Oh, no, you don't." And I said, "Look, I'm not trying to be rude. I go to the same hospital on purpose." I said, "You all can look in the history. I have pneumonia about once a year. This is pneumonia." "Oh, no, ma'am, you're in heart failure." I said, "Well, I may be in slight failure because my foot had swollen, and normally the foot swells when you're retaining fluid." I said, "But I can take a pill for that. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I have pneumonia." "Oh, no, ma'am." Okay, so they still admit me. Oh, your chest x-ray is clear. Well, hospitals have gotten a little lazy. So now when you're in an emergency room, they do chest x-rays with you laying in the bed. So all they see is the front.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that now, yeah.
Okay. Well, when you have, a lot of times when people have heart disease, their heart enlarges. So my heart is a little larger than most. So it takes up a little more space, covers up a few more things that the average one wouldn't. So they admit me. I am in the hospital. They're treating me for the heart failure. They got me on Lasix by the IV. I'm running to the bathroom. All the fluid's coming off. It's great. Well, I am a person who did not have heart issues prior to that moment, nor had I ever had high blood pressure, and I still don't. However, most heart medicines will drop your blood pressure.
Right.
So my normal blood pressure now is like 110/60. That's like my norm. But for most people, that's low. So they started holding my blood pressure medicine. Well, they started holding my heart medicine because they were like, "Oh, your blood pressure's too low." And I'm like, "Could you call my cardiologist? He knows that my blood pressure is low. The pill that you're holding, he doesn't give me for blood pressure. He gives me for atrial fibrillation.
Right.
I need that pill so I don't go into AFib."
AFib, yes. And
so argued with the nurses, still got nothing, went into AFib.
Now, hold on, Yaya. Now, how long did they hold this medicine from you after you're telling them?
So I've only had AFib since April, and I've been on it consistently. They held it for 2 days, so that was 4 doses that I missed, and that put me into AFib. I mean, I'm sure that wasn't 100% the missing of the medicine. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, the part of the stroke on the heart, the being in the hospital, All of these things play into each other. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not putting 100% of blame on them holding the medication. However, as we know, medication helps.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very much a possibility that the holding of the medicine increased exacerbated the situation, and we got to AFib.
Right.
So I get into AFib, and they have to get me out of AFib. So I'm on another drip to get off the AFib. By now, it is Tuesday. Because I went in on Friday. And guess what? I still got pneumonia, and they still telling me I don't. So on Wednesday, once they get me out of AFib, once they get me out of failure, they're trying to discharge me.
Huh?
And I'm like, no, I still have pneumonia. And they're like, no, you don't. Your chest X-ray is blank. I said, can I please get a pulmonary consult? Oh, ma'am, that isn't necessary. You don't need pulmonary. Can I please get a pulmonary consult? Don't tell nobody the kind of money I spend to go to the hospital.
Right.
I do while I'm in here.
Right.
So they can get the pulmonologist. And they also, at this point, get the infectious disease doctor. And I'm like, I ain't got no infectious disease. I got doggone pneumonia. Y'all just treat me for the pneumonia.
Infectious disease. So you have told them, if I probably lost count over at least 7 or 8 times.
Oh yeah, every day. Every time the nurses shift change. Hey, how you doing? You know how they come in and they check in with you. Hey, I'll be here from 7 to 7, blah, blah, blah. Baby, I told anybody that would listen I had pneumonia. Because I was trying to get them to treat me
For
the
pneumonia?
pneumonia. So finally, the pulmonologist comes in, and he's like, Miss Smith, I looked at your x-rays. I don't see pneumonia. I said, sir, I don't mean no harm and no disrespect. I said, but I know I have pneumonia. I said, ever since I've had congestive heart failure, I get pneumonia about once a year, sometimes more than that. I said, and I can tell the difference. I know when I'm in failure, and I know when I have pneumonia. Okay, Miss Smith, if it'll make you happy, we'll do a CT scan. So they did a CT scan, which, as we know, takes pictures fully around your body.
Right.
Guess what? The pneumonia was behind my heart, and that is why they could not see it in the original x-ray. So after the CT scan, they finally acknowledged that I had pneumonia, and they treated me for it, and I got released from the hospital that Friday. I was in the hospital for a full week and went through probably every range of foolishness.
Right.
And heart failure, atrial fibrillation, and pneumonia, and fixed it all in that 1 week. So it's not that the hospital was incapable of fixing it. It was, little black girl don't know what she's talking about.
See.
We gonna fix what we see and what we know.
But why do we not we? Why do they not listen to what we are telling you? I'm having problems. This is one, and you know your body. I don't understand that. It's
I
like,
think realistically, the culture of care in the world has changed.
right.
We used to care about people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't anymore. This hospital bed is now a money-making machine. I got to get you in and I got to get you out so I can put somebody else in this bed so I can start this whole insurance process over.
All over again.
Right. And then I think also we're not, as a society, we're not creating a culture of care. So even people who are going to nursing school and learning how to be nurses, a lot of them are not coming out with any type of bedside manner. They are doing what the book told them versus understanding that people are people and everybody's not going to be patient A from the textbook.
That's true. That's true.
And nobody wants to read because I kept saying, if you all look at my history, which is all in this computer, because I can pull it up on my chart on my phone,
right.
So I know you can get it in the computer. I have pneumonia every year. It would seem like you just look at the history and go, well, maybe she does have pneumonia.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she does have pneumonia. Instead of you trying to do all these other things, treat me for what I'm actually here for instead of treating me for other things that's not even the common problem. And then once you've restricted me from this certain medicine, now I'm developed an issue that you have to treat. I mean,
Right.
if we would just take the time to listen, I think it really makes a difference. I'm gonna try to do something real quick, so bear with me. I think it really just makes a difference if we can understand where we need to come from as far as a patient, and then also understanding that they have to listen to us. You are treating me,
But I
you know.
think, I mean, communication is the basis of life. It's
Mhm.
the simplest thing. It affects every relationship, every situation. Normally, when you get right down to the why of it, there's a lack or a loss in communication that causes the confusion.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. You know, one thing that I've heard you say consistently
Consistently.
is that you advocate for yourself.
Yes, you have to.
Definitely. Cuz if you don't, who else will do it?
That's right. I mean, and it's hard. It's not always easy
Mhm.
because this was honestly the first time that I had to, for lack of a better term, act up at the hospital. Like, I'm normally that patient. I've had nurses say to me, I hope you feel better, which that might not sound like nothing, but nurses normally don't connect to patients because of the job.
Mhm.
You know, or I've heard people say, I can't believe you're sick. Because I be in the hospital with my computer, I be doing grades, I be doing all kind of stuff. But I literally could not do any of that because the pneumonia was weighing on my health. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was literally
Right.
affecting me. Like, I wasn't even the normal hospital patient I am because of the pneumonia. And it's scary because, yes, these are the people who are putting things in your IV.
That's
You
true.
can't lock your hospital door. So,
Mhm.
yes, it is scary to have to fight back, but that's what you have to do for you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself, one, you can't take care of nobody else. And two, you won't be there. You know what I'm saying? That's great for your family to get a foundation after you go. But how
Mhm.
does that help you? You've got to speak up in the minute. And it's the scariest thing in the world. And if you're afraid, call somebody else to come up there and stand next to you while you advocate for yourself.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
you are giving these people your money. Your insurance company is giving them some more money.
Mhm.
And you, as they say, you get what you pay for. If you don't say anything, not saying that they're going to fix it all automatically, but if you never say anything, they at least don't even know that
Right.
there's a problem, right?
That is a
So the
problem.
first step
Right.
is speaking up, standing up, being strong in who you are. And like I said, also knowing about your disease, knowing about yourself. I can tell you when I'm in failure. And I know when I'm in failure. And I can tell you if I'm in failure that needs me to go to the hospital or failure that means I need to go sit down somewhere and take a couple extra fluid pills. And I can tell that difference because I live with this every day, but I'm also, for lack of a better term, nosy about this. So I do random Google searches
Well,
to
you should
find
be
out.
nosy about it.
Yes, very much so. But it's that
Mhm.
moment. Like, you have to engage.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, And then also, again, like I said, learning how your body works, learning how your body responds to things. I am also a type 2 diabetic at this point. And prime example is metformin. You know, everybody talks about metformin. I
Right.
took it about 2 weeks and I was like, yeah, this not gonna work. I can't live in the bathroom.
Mhm.
And
It doesn't work for everybody.
my doctor was like, no, metformin is what's best, especially because you have heart disease. I said, oh no, they got to make something else. You're not gonna tell me that on this good green earth they don't have but one pill for a type 2 diabetic with heart disease.
Right.
It's crazy. They make pills all day long.
They have to be
So
something.
I'm at this point taking 3 pills for my diabetes, but I don't have any of the side effects I had with metformin. So I'd rather take them 3 pills a day than that one and have all those other issues.
Have all those other issues. Yeah.
But it's that moment where, again, standing up for yourself, communicating. Because I'll be honest, had she not given me some more pills, I'd have found a new PCP.
Right. in a heartbeat because
You
I know
have to
you.
do what's best for you and your health. You have to do what makes you happy. We're
Hmm.
all on a short time limit on this earth. So
Borrowed
you got
time.
to do the best for you.
That is definitely true. That is definitely, and I know that you are, you are quick to get a second opinion, and
Second,
won't
third,
even
12th,
right,
I will
not
get any
12.
opinion. Um, as a matter, my cardiologist, when I first came back to Houston, I ended up with a black male cardiologist. Loved him to death. He was real old school. He was probably in his 60s. He still took your blood pressure with the little machine where you got to push the
Oh
thing.
yeah,
He wasn't into them electric machines. The few times I went to the hospital with him, the nurses even knew because he would put a note in the chart. Do not take her blood pressure by electronic device, must be taken by hand, the little pump.
right.
Everybody knew that. Loved him to death. He had the audacity to retire.
Oh,
And let me tell you, I went through 8 cardiologists before I got to the one I got now
eight.
because I was not playing with them people.
Oh my gosh, eight cardiologists. So you had to do
I
some
remember
searching.
I'm like, you don't need to touch me all over there to get my heart rate. So I was out. First visit out.
You said
The
you
next doctor, he asked me how I felt. And I said, I feel fine. And he was like, for somebody with a heart condition. And I said, no, I feel fine. And he was like, well, your normal isn't everybody else's normal. You need to understand that you have a heart condition and your fine isn't everybody else's fine. Yep,
huh?
deuced on him too, because I didn't like that attitude. And people are like, oh my God, that's so frivolous. It's not. Because
No,
guess
it's
what? If
not.
you don't believe that I can live a normal life, how am I gonna believe it?
Right. If you're
That
gonna
means
have
you're
that
not gonna
negative
support
tone, yeah.
me doing what I need to do. So guess what? I need a new doctor.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he wrong for that one. So eight cardiologists. Like, is this within a year span or
Probably in about 2 years.
okay?
I went through 8 cardiologists before I got the one I have now. I love him to death. Wouldn't trade him for nothing in the world. He white man, but he think he down. Um, and he's hilarious. A lot of people do say that he's a little liberal.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, I think he is, but I think that that's what works for me because he
Mhm.
doesn't give me limitations. His favorite thing to say is do what you feel like you can do.
I like that.
There's not this moment of, and because there are some people who look at my charts and are like, oh my God, why aren't you on disability? You shouldn't be doing anything. I can't believe that you're working a full-time job. What am I supposed to do?
Right. Am I just supposed to give up? I mean, you
I got
still
a full-time job, 2 side businesses. I do theater on the side. I got 2 kids. Like I live a full life, and that's all I can do. And when it's over, it's over.
have right.
Nobody can make that call but Jesus. And
That's
when
true.
you call my name, I'm gonna roll out. But what I'm going to say is that everybody left here is nobody's gonna say, "Man, that Yaya was boring. Man, that Yaya didn't ever do nothing. Man, that Yaya didn't have no life." No, that's not
No,
what we're gonna say.
that's true. I
We
can
want
never
to
say that,
live
and I've
life
been knowing you since the
as long
2000s.
as I can.
That's true. I've been knowing you since the 2000s, and I can't even say that. So oh my goodness. So there was I received like this little, I'm trying to remember where did I get it from? I can't remember. But anyways, I received this flyer. I want to say it was at my job. But let's just roll with that. So it says learn early heart attack care. And it says that heart attacks have beginnings. So it talks about feeling of fullness, like you have chest pressure, like aching or burning, because you had mentioned that earlier. If you have that little burning sensation and you think it's just heartburn, but it's lasting longer than what it needs to be.
Right.
Um, Also, shortness of breath or back pain.
Shortness of breath is a big one. I mean, that's normally
Mhm.
what leads me to the doctor when I'm in failure. That's normally my number one. Um, and very much heart. issues are a time thing. Like, if you feel the pain don't go away after about 2 minutes. And
Right.
definitely, if it's a debilitating pain, if it's a pain, go get checked. What is the harm in getting checked?
Mm.
Better,
I
as the old people say, better be safe than sorry.
Then sorry, yes, they do say that. But I really feel that a lot of people are scared when I talk to I'm supposed to say fans, but family and friends, and I say, hey, you need to go to the doctor, and to me they always seem scared. They're afraid of what the doctor's going to say, what they're going to find out. Is this going to be another bill? You know.
A lot of people are, and even so, for me, I was honestly one of those people. But I also, again, back to this moment of I had to be an adult and say, I now have a health issue. I have to deal with it.
Mhm.
Because I was not one of those people that was hardcore on the bandwagon about, let me make sure I get this checkup every year and let me make sure I get this annual and all that. That wasn't me.
Mhm.
Um, Unfortunately, but luckily, all at the same time, I did have enough sense to go to the hospital when I couldn't, when I woke up unable to breathe that day.
Right. Right.
And it started this whole health crisis that forced me to get involved and to understand and to know and to need to validate my health and be able to communicate about it. And I honestly wish that, I mean, and unfortunately, I really didn't have health issues that we knew of prior to that moment. So I can't even say I could have planned for it. But
Right.
there are a lot of things that can be planned for. And it's that moment of, are you more scared to go to the hospital and find out that you have something, or are you more scared to die?
Mm.
And that's that real question, because if nobody can ever tell you what's wrong, you're gonna just not wake up one day.
Right. Or something that's going to happen. Listen, I don't know if you just heard what she said, but just think about that for a minute. Are you afraid to just go to the doctor, or are you just afraid of dying? I mean, I think, to be honest, we all have to die at some point. We don't know when, right? We don't know what's going to come after our dash, but we all have to die at some point. So if you are able to take care of yourself and do what you need to do, now is the time now is the time to do this. Now is the time to go and get checked out to prevent from having a heart attack, or just checking on your health in general. It's really important. And one thing I've learned is, for women, the symptoms of having a heart attack or having heart issues is different than from a man.
Very much so. And that's why I mentioned earlier research. Research
Mm,
isn't done on black women in abundance like that. So a lot of us, it's one of the reasons that heart disease probably kills black women the most, because our symptoms present differently.
right.
Um and so for a lot of us, if we're not familiar with the heart disease, heart conditions, if we don't already have one, we either ignore things, or the symptoms are so minimal that we don't even notice.
Mm. We don't
But
even
we're
pay
also in
attention
a
to it.
culture where, as black women, we like to put the world on our shoulders and go running. And that's something that even I know personally I've had to learn is, yeah, no. The word no is a whole
Yeah,
sentence.
it's a whole sentence.
And there are moments where you have to believe in self care. You have to take care of you, because, again, if you down, you can't put the world on your shoulders and go running.
Hmm.
You
That's
know,
true.
your job, if you die, they gonna send your family a plant, and they gonna repost your job 2 or 3 days later, and they gonna throw all the stuff in your office away if don't nobody come get it in 24 hours. And
Hmm.
they're gonna move on. Your family can't replace you.
That's true. This and I hope someone is listening or watching this segment, and You know that you're going through some things right now. You know that you have some pain, whether it's excessive fatigue or weakness or jaw pain or whatever that it may be. You know that you're having some issues and you're just trying to sweep it under the rug. I've even come in contact with people that say, well, I didn't know that she was sick. They never said anything. Like their mom or their dad,
Right,
whomever,
right.
they never said anything. Nobody knew. And then all of a sudden, you just gone. And then when they get to looking through their belongings, they see, oh my God, they had heart conditions or they had a pacemaker or they had some type of cancer. You end up learning that this person has it. And that's hard for your family to deal with when you're not sharing and being transparent about what's going
You
on
know,
with
that's another thing that we as a people really need to stop doing
you. Mm-hmm.
is not telling our kids things. And I'm not even talking about your kids. I'm talking about your 45-year-old that you don't want to tell that you got breast cancer, so you sneak in the chemo and
Mm-hmm.
tell them you on trips. Why?
Right.
Because now not only does that child need to be concerned about you and your health, but they now need to be concerned about theirs.
That's
Because a
true.
lot of things are hereditary. So if I never knew there was a family history of it, back to our favorite word, communication.
Right.
If you
Communication
never communicated that to me when I go to the doctor and fill out this history form, I can't communicate it to the doctor.
to the
So
doctor. That's
doctor,
true.
because the doctor's going to do things differently if I have a history of heart disease. The
Right.
doctor's going to do things differently if I have a history of cancer. Like these are all things we've got to effectively communicate who we are and what's going on with us. People can tell you every time, and this for SGRO, every time we get ready to go to a conference, my roommate gets my full list of medications. They get my full list of diagnosis. I will be quick to tell people I have a defibrillator. These are all things that people need to know because if something happens,
Right.
especially with the state of my health, somebody needs to be able to communicate for me.
Right. Be
Because
prepared.
CPR, well, the way that people react to me heart wise will be different with the defibrillator in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Because if something happens to my heart, the defibrillator is supposed to go off, right? But
Right.
that same jolt could affect someone who tries to get down to do CPR on me.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know that.
Right. They do
People
need to
need
know
to know
that.
what medications you take because there are a number of things that react with one another.
Or even if you have certain foods that may
Yep.
have a reaction
Yep.
with it. And if you come
People
in
need to
contact
know
with that
these things.
food, yeah.
And we as a people love to keep secrets.
Oh,
Don't nothing leave the house for sure.
mm-hmm. I don't know
You
why we like that.
have to be honest and open, especially when it comes to your health and the things that you need and desire. You've got to be able to communicate again who you are and what you need.
I like that. Who you are, what you need, and how can I help you?
That's
Because if
right.
you closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't tell me what you want, how can I help you? I
Not
can't
at
I
all.
can't help you. And that's true across all boards, not just with the relationship with your doctors, but the relationship with your family and everything because I think it's important for families to know that I'd rather for you to know what's going on about me instead of if I pass away and then you're angry and you're mad and you're bitter that she didn't tell us. And so your grieving is a little bit different because you're
Right.
upset
Right.
with me that I haven't shared what's going on. Instead of saying, hey, I'm having issues, I'm going to have to make some changes with my lifestyle. I can't do XYZ. Just be open. Be open about it. I don't know why we have to keep secrets. I'm still scratching my head on that one. I don't
Oh,
understand. I don't understand. But I also feel that some people feel like you don't want people to know your business.
and I get it. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you can't keep some things private, but realistically, your health, especially with your family members, is
Mhm.
not necessarily your business.
Mhm.
Especially if it's something that could possibly be hereditary. Because what you're doing now is you're putting your relatives at a deficit. So that's not your business.
Right. That's true.
And even if it's not hereditary, if you have long-term health issues, something as simple as bringing in a case of water out of the car might hurt you, but you ain't never told me that you got that you have a heart condition, so you're
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be picking it up. So now I'm thinking you lazy,
Right.
or now I'm thinking you just don't want to help,
We
and
being
so it's
judgmental.
a whole other set of confusion. When
Mm-hmm.
all you would ever had to say in the beginning is, "Hey, you know what? I got some health issues going on. I'm not supposed to be moving heavy stuff. I'm sorry."
I can't do that. Yes. Just to be honest.
Or you're picking up the water so you can hide it, and then in your bed in pain the whole night because you moved something you ain't had no business.
Business moving, right? And then they wonder why you in bed.
Right.
Why you in bed
Why
all
are
day?
you in pain?
Mm-hmm. Why you in
Why you
pain?
hurt? And that's the thing. And I really don't understand people who lie to their doctors. What is
Mm.
your point in going if you're going to lie when you get there? They cannot even begin to attempt to treat you if they do not know what is going on.
What is going on? Yeah.
Simple stuff. How long has it been like that? Are you eating this? Are you exercising? Why lie?
Mm-hmm.
You're at the doctor. The doctor needs to know more probably than anybody else.
So he or she can be able to treat you,
Right.
and I've heard it before. Some people say, I don't want to be on another pill. Every time, and I used to think like that. Every time I go to the doctor, they find out something wrong, or they find something wrong. And then at some point I said, well, I'd rather for them to find something wrong instead of them not finding something and then it sneaks up on me.
Yeah, very
Like
much so.
I'd rather for you to let me know. So I will share something with you, Yaya. And I probably have told you this. I can't remember. It's been, I mean, we've been friends for so long, it's hard to keep up. But I went to it was a long time ago. I can't remember what year, but I was at my primary care doctor, and she asked me, she said, have you had any problems with your heart? And I said, no. And she said, well, have you ever been an athlete? And I said, well, back in my younger days, I was running track, that type of
Mhm.
stuff, but nothing spectacular. And she said, well, it seems like we need to run some tests because it seems like you have like some funny type of rhythm going on. So, long story short, she named it. Well, I'm not. She didn't name it, but it was diagnosed as Winkenbach. And
Okay.
so she said that. I said, so what does that mean? And when she came and told me that, I'm automatically like afraid, like, is something wrong with my heart? What's
Right.
going on? Does that mean I'm gonna have to have a pacemaker? And so she just said, as you get older, probably like once you get like 60 and above, maybe your heart rhythm will slow down to where you need to have a a pacemaker, because what it is like your heart skips a beat, but it's not constant.
Right. It's not, yeah.
It just happens every so often. And so, at times as life has gone on, sometimes I forget to tell people that I have the Winkenbach. Because they'll ask you, do you have any heart problems, any cardiac issues? And I
Right.
was like, well, no. And then I was
But
like,
that's
oh, well,
because,
yeah, I have.
like we talked about, the consistency.
Yeah.
Because it's not a consistent problem, it's not a problem that honestly affects your daily life.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, you forget about it.
You forget about it. Yeah, totally. And so when I finally went to a cardiologist, after this whole chemo stuff, I had to go to the cardiologist, and I told him, he was like, what? You sure? And running all these tests, and he was like, huh. I even had to sleep with the machine on. I
Oh,
forgot
okay,
what
yeah.
it's called. Yeah. And he was like, well, I don't see anything. But if you ever have any issues, we have to pay attention to it. So he always say just to follow up, to make sure that you staying on top of it. And so I appreciate that, because at
Right.
times you just kind of, it's like you said, out of sight, out of mind.
Very
Yeah,
much so. Very much
very
so.
much so. So I appreciate you having this candid conversation with me today about heart health, and I hope this information will help someone at whatever journey that they're in right now to take action on their health and to go to the doctor and to be transparent about what's going on. Now, before Yaya, before we leave, what are some? I mean, I know you have some words of encouragement always, and words of cutting up too, but we don't need those. But what? But what are some words of encouragement that you would like to give someone if they just need to hear something about what they need to do for their health? What would you say to anyone?
Definitely remembering again that if you're not good, nobody else in your life can be good. A lot of times, especially again as Black women, as parents, often as the supervisor at the job, we put all these things in front of us. And guess what? You can't be the supervisor if you did. You can't be the supervisor if you have a heart attack and you stuck in the hospital for 90 days going through rehab and therapy. And, just take care of you and everything else will fall into place. Life is short. You got to live the best one you can and keep it moving. I mean, and let's be honest, healthy people die every day, sick people die every day. You never know when it's your turn. So do the things you want to do and live your life for yourself and stop trying to live it for everybody else.
I like that. Oh, I like that. I love it. Now, y'all give me a hug. Come on, bring it in. Oh, okay, good. Yaya does not like hugs, y'all, so I have to force her to hug me.
You know what? Look, these
I have
days
to tell her.
I'm trying to like anything. Why not?
Okay, well, thank you, because you owe me two next time I see you in
I
person.
got it. I got it.
Okay. Well, Yaya, thank you for coming on Share the Tea Tuesdays and sharing your inspirational story with everyone else. I truly do appreciate it. Everyone, don't forget to follow Share the Tea LLC on Share the Tea with V. I'm on all social media channels. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And remember, always be intentional, be insightful, and be impactful in everything that you do. And until I see you guys again next week, see you later. Stay blessed. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you. Love you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.